walk out on that field today, ask yourself this question.
What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's go! We ready! We ready! We ready! We ready! And let's go to the house! And let's go to the house!
When I step on the field, I send one message. And this is what it feels like. This is what it feels like.
Football is getting hit. That's it.
It's gonna be football now. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's hunt now. Let's hunt now. Let's go. Let's hunt. We ready? And let's go to the house. And let's go to the house.
We're talking about the Jets like we're talking about the Saints. You know, all this, how we the Miami Heat of football. Yeah. The bottom line is you got to buckle up your chin strap.
It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Don't disrespect the game like that. There's too much crying from them.
He's a man. They can be hit just like us. He's a man.
You already make the big money.
He's a man.
Don't cry when you step on the field, man. That's war out there.
When I step on the field, I send one message. And this is what it feels like.
Oh, my bad. Your bad don't work in my world.
What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. We ready? And let's go to the house. And let's go to the house. It's a wrap. Game over.
And no, this game is not over. It's just getting started on this Freestyle Friday. I hope everybody is ready for this Super Bowl weekend because it is here on us. Super Bowl 57 for those who, get a little challenge with those Roman numerals, as do I. So it's about to go down in Glendale, Arizona this weekend, this Sunday, 5:30 Central, and you can't miss it. It's going to be a great game. It's going to be a great game. All right, but listen, I got to get it in real quick today. The NBA trade deadline. What in the world? Man, let me just tell you, for all of you fans of your favorite teams, be careful what you ask for. You just might get it. The Brooklyn Nets have purged themselves of Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. Who would have thought that? I thought Brooklyn had finally figured it out. They got Kevin Durant. They got Kyrie Irving. They had James Harden. I mean, it was just a no-brainer that they were going to end up winning a chip. They ended up trading away James Harden to Philly, got Ben Simmons back. Still don't know what that's going to be, but Kyrie and Kevin Durant it just didn't work. I mean, I'm not going to pile on. Everybody's had some very strong things to say. Stephen A. Smith has got some kind of personal issue going on with Kyrie Irving. Those two need to get in a ring somewhere and just handle their business. I don't think Kyrie has the same negativity towards Stephen A. Smith as Stephen A. Smith has towards him. But whatever it is, listen, it's not good for anybody. But anyway, I say that to say it just didn't work out. And I'm not going to pile on. I'm not going to exacerbate a situation that for the Brooklyn Nets as an organization, they can take a sigh of relief like, hey, man, we tried it. It didn't work. We've gotten out of it. They ended up shipping Kevin Durant to the Phoenix Suns for a lot. They got a lot back for them. So good for them. They gave up a lot. They got a lot back. Everybody needs to just move on. Kevin doesn't need to do any debrief on what went wrong or what didn't, what went right in Brooklyn. Your new team is Phoenix. Brother, please focus on the Phoenix Suns, and whatever you do, don't mess that up. That team has been one of the top teams in the NBA for the last couple of years, and I know they're trying to continue that. Somebody asked an interesting question. If Kevin Durant wins a chip with the Phoenix Suns, does he finally get the respect that he feels like he deserves? I'll just say it like this. There are people like myself who have never won a chip on a professional level who feel like we're qualified to talk about that in some kind of unique and special way. And I just don't think that's the case. I really do. If Kevin wins a chip with the Phoenix Suns, that's 2 with Golden State, 1 with Phoenix. That's 3 chips. If I'm him, I'm focused on that. I don't focus on whether I was the MVP. I don't focus on, my contribution to them winning the chips. I mean, heck, Robert Horry has 7. You think he's splitting hairs on how he got those 7? I mean, that's one of the biggest hauls in NBA history. If I'm Kevin Durant, man, I'm just like, yeah, whatever. Just, I got 3. Leave it at that. So we'll see how all that plays out. The Rockets have finally moved on from, I'm not going to say move on from, because he was a good dude here, and I wish him nothing but the best with the LA Clippers, talking about Eric Gordon. They've been talking about trading him, talking with other teams about trading him and all of that for a couple of seasons now, but he finally got his wish. He wanted to move on. It was not, like it was with James Harden when he left out of here. It was contentious. That was not the case. The Rockets wanted to do right by him, and he wanted to be respectful of them. He wanted them to get something in return because, as he said out of his own mouth, he believes in this organization. He believes in his teammates here. He believes in these young players. He just did not want to be a part of a rebuild. I mean, look at where he is in his career. I like it when good dudes get good things happen to them like that, and it's not dramatic. It's not all this drama. I mean, heck, the Texans did that for J.J. Watt. I'm glad that the Rockets organization did that for Eric Gordon. So, the interesting thing, though, is John Wall technically is a Rocket again. And, John Wall is on record recently of having said that the organization was a trash organization because of how they handled some of their young players, because of how they focused on not winning. I know everybody calls it tanking, but focused on not winning so that they could get better draft picks. He was not pleased or impressed with that. I mean, I'm still trying to figure out what he's mad about because they paid him, $47 million, some ungodly number to not play. I mean, again, money don't fix everything. When you're a competitor, you want to compete. I get it. He was coming off of injury. This was his next chance. And I appreciated him while he was here. He showed me some things while he was here that let me know that, he literally still had something left. But he got traded back to the Rockets in that deal, along with other players. He's going to get bought out. He will not play, I don't believe now, unless something strange happens behind the scenes that I don't know about. He will not play a game with the Houston Rockets. He will be bought out of his contract and then can go wherever he wants to go. I don't think he can go back to the Clippers, though. I think he wanted to be with that organization. I think he wanted to run with Paul George and Kawhi Leonard and the guys. I just don't. I don't know. I don't know how that works out. I'm not one of those broadcast journalists who, when I don't know something, I say it really, definitively like I do know it. If I don't know, I'll tell you I don't know. But anyway, I don't know how that works. I don't know what will happen for John Wall when he gets bought out, but I believe he will provide some value to some team in the league. Patrick Beverley. Everybody was waiting on Russell Westbrook to get traded. What about Patrick Beverley getting traded again? In fact, I got to get ready to take a break. But when I come back, I want to talk about the Lakers a little bit, see if they improve themselves where they can, like Coach Darvin Ham said, get LeBron James back to the playoffs. We'll talk about that next right here on Freestyle Friday on the lunch break on powered by JM&E, streaming live on ROKU TV, courtesy of BS3 TV. We'll be right back right after this.
This is a BS3 Network presentation.
I want to show that attainability. I want to show the accessibility of this kind of lifestyle.
From social media to having conversations with friends and family, you always have to put on face and say face.
What brings a smile to my face is the one person that totally believes in me, and that's my beautiful wife, Jody.
I just had to stop because I didn't value myself. I didn't love myself. And it's like, I have to learn to love myself.
changing the world one conversation at a time. This is Revelations. Discouragement, sorrow, distance. Your arguments cause damage to your family. The hurt leads to divorce. You feel like there is nowhere else to turn. But there is hope for you. That's where we come into play. There is an overcomer that lives inside of you. One ready to take on the world as you leap for joy, living in victory. You'll grow to love yourself and others. There's life after divorce, and you can claim it today. Get Over Divorce, where your new story begins here every Thursday on YouTube and Spreaker.
All right, two more great shows from the BS3 network. If you've got a Roku streaming device, just download BS3 TV. Just, go to your Roku app and on your streaming device and go to where you can download the streaming channels. Look for BS3 TV. Download that thing and click on it, and then just keep clicking because, man, it's show after show after show. That's just great content, and I love the BS3 family. So if you don't have a Roku streaming device, just go to bs3network.com. That's bs3network.com. You will be glad you did. Okay, all right. So I know people are going to wonder, well, why is he specifically talking about the LA Lakers? Man, they now have playing for them actively right now the number one scorer in NBA history. You want to try to win with that cat, right? It's none other than LeBron James, arguably one of the best players in the game. And, he missed the playoffs last season, missed the playoffs the season before that because he was injured, better part of that season. But, the guy has a phenomenal playoff record. I'm not talking about versus Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan's 6-0. LeBron James is not. Hell, Tom Brady has not won every Super Bowl that he's played in, but he is still considered the greatest quarterback of all time. So, I'm not getting into that argument. I am mature enough to appreciate all the greatness that comes out of the NBA. I grew up in the days of Bird and Magic Johnson and Julius Erving and Dominique Wilkins. I mean, again, I've seen some, Allen Iverson, Shaquille O'Neal, Grant Hill. I've seen some of the greatest to play the game, and I never felt obligated to pick one over the other. Just never did. I didn't see Wilt Chamberlain play. I saw Kareem Abdul-Jabbar near the tail end of his career, but I'm just telling you, I was grateful to be able to see, some of those guys play and not feel obligated to have to pick one over the others. If that's your thing, do that, but don't feel like everybody's got to agree with you or go along with you. They just don't have to go like that. So anyway, when you got LeBron James on your team, you want to try and make moves to get him and your team back in the playoffs. So what the Lakers did, the Lakers ended up getting Russell Westbrook out, along with their 2027 first-round pick for D'Angelo Russell, Malik Beasley, and Jarrett Vanderbilt, who, in my opinion, don't make the Lakers championship material. They just don't. And I'm not slighting those guys. I'm just saying that the Lakers just didn't quite get, the kind of player. But they got some real solid players, and I think that there's enough in that group, along with what they had already done recently, for them to now get in that top 10 to be in the play-in if they have to be, and possibly even in the top 7, top 6, top 7, for them to move in. I think that because again, if you look at the standings, there is very little. Let me give you the NBA standings, and you'll see what I'm talking about. In the West, the number 6 team, where they don't have to be in the play-in, is 30-27. Behind that, you've got the Pelicans at 29-27. At 8, Timberwolves 30-28. At 9, the Warriors 28-27. At 10, you got Portland at 27-28. the Lakers are 2.5 games behind Portland, and they are 4 games behind the Pelicans at number 7, with a bunch of games left to play. And we haven't even gotten to the NBA All-Star game yet. So, again, there's time, and I believe that this young group has, what they can put together. Young group. These players have the ability to add some youth to the veteran play of LeBron, Anthony Davis, and some other guys to possibly get them in that top 6, top 7, where they can get into play. Now, will they do it? That's the part I don't know. I think they've got what they can work with to be able to do it. Obviously, Phoenix looks like they won the trade deadline wars by getting Kevin Durant. I mean, there are very few players as physically gifted and talented as Kevin Durant. Now, again, the whole mentals are a whole nother deal. But Phoenix, in my opinion, becomes one of the top teams to look at when it comes to the West. Let me see where Phoenix is in the standings right now in the West. Number 1, Denver. Number 2, Memphis. 3, Sacramento. 4, Dallas. They got Kyrie. 5, Clippers. We'll see where they go. And Phoenix is at number 6. Phoenix, number 6. They're 8.5 games out of the top spot and 4.5 games out of the number 2 spot. Anything happens. It's going to be very interesting. All right, let me take my second break, and then I'll come back and we'll talk some NFL football. We'll talk Super Bowl when we come back on the lunch break, powered by JM&E, streaming live on ROKU TV, courtesy of BS3 TV.
If you're looking for a sports program that gives you the flavor.
Washington Commanders? Really?
This whole thing stinks to high heaven.
That pulls no punches.
Thuggish act by a thuggish actor.
That gives you some humor.
Praise everything LeBron does and never criticize it.
If you want a show that gives you good times, then this is that show. BS3 Network proudly presents.
I am Cole Johnson, and welcome to
Cole Sports with a Z. Every Friday on Patreon, and every Saturday on YouTube, Spreaker, and all other outlets. What do you get when you watch or listen to the Life Happens podcast? Well, I'll let them tell you.
Kim and I are both ministers of the gospel, and what Life Happens podcast is a beautiful balance by simply taking our spirituality with real life and merging it together to create a beautiful balance. And that's what we do.
BS3 Network proudly presents Life Happens podcast, where Christianity and life intersect. Live every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central.
All right, y'all, back here on the lunch break, powered by JM&E, streaming live on Roku TV, courtesy of those folks right there. BS3 with 2 more great shows, Cole Sports and Life Happens podcast. Get you a Roku streaming device, download BS3 TV, and you'll know what I'm talking about. If not, go to bs3network.com. That's bs3network.com, and you can get in on it. All right, so let's talk about the Super Bowl. Let's talk about the Super Bowl. It is this Sunday. It is 5:30 Central. It is Kansas City versus Philadelphia. Jalen Hurts and Philadelphia versus Patrick Mahomes and Kansas City. 2 black quarterbacks. Yes, I'm going to keep saying that all month long. If you don't like it, don't listen. I don't care. It's a first. It's exciting. I'm excited about it. But 2 black quarterbacks and 2 teams that really, man, just dominated everybody else. I know that each one of them lost 3 games, but still they did what they needed to do to be the top in their respective conferences. You got the number 1 team in the AFC versus the number 1 team in the NFC. So you can't beat that. Many similarities in certain areas on the team. You got playmaking quarterbacks. You got running backs who are more than just efficient. You got wide receivers who can take over the game. You got members of that defense that can take over a game. You got members in the secondary who can, lock down their respective players. You got 2 head coaches that seem to be, very astute in what they do and are not just, one and done as far as game plans go. They make very good adjustments throughout the game, talking about Andy Reid and Nick Sirianni. So again, you got 2 very good teams going up in the biggest game of their sport and of the season, the Super Bowl. Where I stand, I'm leaning towards Philadelphia, and I feel like the point spread is not far off. I think this is going to be a very close game, but I think it has the ability to be, if it's going to be a blowout, it'll be on Philadelphia's side. In my opinion, I just don't see Philadelphia falling apart and Kansas City blowing them out. I mean, they're just too strong defensively, and they're too methodical offensively. In fact, somebody posted a video clip of how well the Philadelphia Eagles run the RPO, and I replied back with the comment, Philadelphia is putting on an RPO clinic in that mashup, that clip. So, but again, Kansas City, no dummy. They know how to break down game film. They know how to exploit weaknesses. They know how to look for tells. They know how to look for tendencies, areas where, Philadelphia might use the same personnel for a certain type of play out of a certain type of formation in certain situations. These coaches are skilled and trained to pull all that out and see how to adjust to it and what have you. So it's just a matter now of execution and not making mistakes, fumbles, turnovers, interceptions, muff punts, not getting the kickoff past the 20, 25-yard line. Things like that are game changers. So it comes down to who's going to make the most mistakes or most crucial mistakes, because you got 2 strong, solid teams. Again, execution is the key. Who's going to have a blown coverage, and what will they suffer because of the blown coverage? Who's going to make the mistakes on offense, and what will they suffer as a result of that? Who's going to be able to turn the field over? Maybe they don't, it's 3 and out, but they get that ball down on a good punt and they flip the field. Things like that are the little things that add up to a win or a loss for a team. A lot of folks like to blame it on one play. Oh, the refs missed this call. Oh, that player did this. That player did that. At the end of the day, it's a collection of plays. You only get about 65 plays a game. It's a collection of plays during that game that will determine who wins and who loses. And again, this one's going to be fun to watch. It's going to be fun for a lot of reasons for me personally, but it's going to be fun to watch. And I'm going to go ahead and go on the line and say Philadelphia by 3 or less for me. Philadelphia by 3 or less for me. All right, for my lunch break weekly, keeping up with the Joneses Pick'em Challenge for Miss Pearl, for Alexis, for Amber, Erica with a K, Al High, and Emmanuel. Got to have your picks by Sunday, 4 p.m. Central. 4 p.m. Central. You got to pick the winner and the exact final score for both teams. Very important that you send me the exact final score for both teams, not the collective number, individual number, because that gives us multiple tiebreakers, because it has come down to this. Miss Pearl is ahead by 1 win. All she's got to do is pick the right team and she'll win. All she's got to do is pick the right team and she shuts everybody out. But if she gets it wrong and Alexis gets it right, Amber gets it right, Erica with a K gets it right, or Al High gets it right, and they are closer to the final score than any one of the other people, they'll win. They'll win. They'll come back from behind and beat Miss Betty. They'll win. Unfortunately, Emmanuel is out of it because he's 2 wins behind everybody else with only 1 game left to play. So there's no way to get him there. But after that, we're going to announce a $500 winner. And we'll announce the sponsors who put up the money for the $500. If you did not get a chance to compete in the Lunch Break Weekly Keeping Up with the Joneses Pick'em Challenge, get ready for the Lunch Break Weekly Keeping Up with the Joneses Pick'em Challenge NCAA bracket. We got it coming up. That bracket for the March Madness men's side. Now I know folks want us to do one on the women's side. We just don't have enough sponsors to do that yet. And I'm not knocking the women's game. I mean, heck, we could do one for the women and not do one for the men. So I'll talk with my team. We'll see what we're planning to do. But anyway, you get a chance to do that. All right. So let me take my final break. We'll come back. We'll wrap it all up after this on the Lunch Break, powered by JM&E, streaming live on Roku TV, courtesy of BS3 TV.
This is a BS3 network presentation. Politics.
They'll write the law, but they'll enforce it differently. Is that going to apply both ways?
Religion.
God never said that we can't reason together. Matter of fact, he said, let us sit and reason together.
Relationship.
I believe that everybody wants and needs somebody.
From a man's perspective.
They say, girls, if I put some polish on that and get him to buy some different clothes, girl, he could be a winner chicken dinner.
Join the thought engineer.
There's nothing wrong with me developing my piece and you developing your piece, but understand the goal is to come together.
And comedian John Yogi.
Negro, I don't need you putting on no chapstick up there in the pulpit. You do that over there in your chair.
Get ready for
Man Talk Monday. Woo!
Live every Monday at 7 p.m. Central. There's a 100% chance of a laugh thunderstorm. 4 men with different viewpoints take a movie, show, or documentary and review it uncensored, unfiltered, uncompromised, with no holds barred. Join BS3, Wilkes, King Dog, and H-Rap B as they take on Hollywood their own way. BS3 Network proudly presents The Forecast, where H-Rap B always predicts,
if I owe you something, I ain't got it. And if you need it, get it from God.
Live every Monday at 8:30 p.m. Central. Check your local listings for your viewing and listening pleasure.
Two more great shows on the BS3 network. We are powered by JM&E, but we're streaming live on Roku TV, courtesy of BS3 TV. And Man Talk Monday, another great one. The Forecast, great show as they review different movies. And it is not any Siskel and Ebert stuff. It is, look, 4 black men putting it in on these movies. Great perspective. Love it. Love it when I have the opportunity to be on that show. All right, let me get ready to wrap this up. I want to shout out real quick to some of the winners of the NFL awards. I kind of said it was going to happen. It did. Patrick Mahomes won the league MVP award. Brian DeBoll is the coach of the year. A number of people could have gotten that, but I'm telling you, he did such a great job with the New York Jets that with the New York Giants, New York Giants, that he definitely deserved that award. Geno Smith, I told you he was going to be the player of the year, comeback player of the year. He did that. Offensive player of the year, Justin Jefferson with Minnesota. Defensive player of the year, Nick Bosa. And let me pause real quick. I was real hard on Joey Bosa with the LA Chargers and his comments after they got their behinds kicked in the playoffs. And he did get fined. It took them forever. He said, I'm probably going to get fined $40,000. Now, NFL hit him with 55, as they should have. You know, just his comments were just inappropriate and very immature. And I'm glad that he got punched in the mouth with a fine of $55,000 by the NFL. But his brother, Nick Bosa, who played amazing, won the AP Defensive Player of the Year. Rookie of the Year went to Garrett Wilson of the Jets, former the Ohio State Buckeyes. Sauce Gardner from Cincinnati was Defensive Rookie of the Year. And D'Amico Ryans was named the AP Assistant Coach of the Year. He is now the head coach of the Houston Texans. So I wanted to get that in. All right. Before I go, let me give you a little trivia question. On this day in Black history, I want to know which HBCU, historically Black college or university, I got them all on my shirt today, which HBCU has the most NFL Hall of Famers? Come on, Keith Hennick. Come on, Erica with a K. Come on. Which HBCU has the most NFL Hall of Famers? Well, here we go. If you picked Grambling, you're partially right. If you picked Jackson State, you are partially right. If you picked Morgan State, how did you know? You know your HBCU stuff, but you got to add in there South Carolina State. All of them have 4 NFL Hall of Famers from their respective schools. And we got to say, on this day in Black history, we celebrate our historically Black colleges and universities, Jackson State, Grambling, Morgan State, and South Carolina State, for producing the most NFL Hall of Famers from an HBCU. All right. Listen, let me get ready to get out of here. As always, let's not be divided. Let's be united. I truly do love you. There is nothing you can do about it except have a great Super Bowl weekend. Be safe. Enjoy your family and friends. And meet us here for the HBCU Stroll with Coach Johnny Cole on this coming Monday. We'll see what he has to offer. And then, of course, I'll be doing my synopsis of the Super Bowl and breaking that down on Tuesday, Talk Your Team Tuesday. So, again, y'all be blessed, y'all be safe, and don't be divided, all right? We'll talk to y'all later. Here's Sybil Wilkes.
Sybil Wilkes with what you need to know. Today, we made it. It's Friday, February 10th, 2023. Number 1. What better way to begin Black History and American Heart Month than to salute the American Heart Association and its historic president, Dr. Michelle Albert. As a Black woman and as the first female president of American Heart, Dr. Albert is a twofer. She stepped into this position prepared and focused on providing health care for all during a time when bias in healthcare still exists. When asked what her historic position as AHA president means, the caregiver and mentor shine as she points out it's not about being the first Black woman or woman of color, but perhaps it's the mentor in Dr. Albert, making sure she's not the last. Read more about Dr. Michelle Albert in today's What You Need to Know newsletter. Number 2. 2 Black starting quarterbacks will face off in the Super Bowl Sunday for the very first time. Philadelphia Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts will square off against Kansas City's Patrick Mahomes. Historically, the racist establishment of professional football considered the role of quarterback outside of a Black player's capabilities. Yet, 7 Black starting quarterbacks have played in the Super Bowl. Black coaches were rarer still. In 1921, as coach of the Akron Pros, Fritz Pollard became the first Black head coach in the NFL history. 16 years ago, it was Black head coach Lovie Smith and Tony Dungy becoming the first Black head coaches to face off against each other in a Super Bowl. Number 3, Maine's community college system ended a requirement effective immediately that on-campus students received the COVID-19 vaccine. Maine Community College System President David Dagler said high vaccination rates in the state and improved outcomes for people who contract COVID-19 played a role in that decision. One exception to the new rule is that students in some programs might be required to receive the vaccine due to requirements at third-party locations, according to the system. Number 4, hundreds of supporters of transgender people gathered at Oklahoma's Capitol this week to protest a slate of proposed legislation that would bar certain gender-affirming medical care for trans minors and young adults in that state. State lawmakers have introduced at least 30 bills targeting LGBTQ people so far this year. That according to an NBC News analysis. At least half of those aim to restrict gender-affirming medical care. During his State of the State address Monday, the Governor Stitt said he would sign a bill to ban transition-related surgery for minors, though doctors who provide such care say surgeries are rarely performed on minors. Number 5, the Philadelphia 76ers basketball team has announced they are bringing back their Buy Black program initiative. Started during the 2021-22 NBA season, the Buy Black program attracted more than 600 applications from local Black-owned businesses. Through the program and with additional partners, East Side Golf, a Black-owned sports apparel company, and Zenith Wealth Partners, applicants will receive mentorship and networking opportunities. Applications are now being taken until February 21st. Head over to the Philadelphia 76ers website to apply. Here's your daily inspiration from Yogi's Jewels. Life is a series of choices. Choose to forgive. Okay. To subscribe to my free daily newsletter, please visit SibylWilkes.com. Be informed.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.